member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D second edition podcast ever.
Five, four, three. THACO's Hammer number 87. And I'm your host, DM Glen.
Yay.
Thank you. And that is DM Corey.
What's going on, everybody? Oh.
And we also...
Okay, Corey?
What? Yeah, I just noticed my glass empty. Go ahead. Go.
He's okay. Well, we also have DM Brian.
Hey, folks, how's everything going?
And we also have DM Old Dragon.
No.
Richard Lee
No.
Byers.
There you go.
Thank
Right
you.
on the second guess.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. And we're going to talk about Vecna today.
Yes,
The
we
eye of
are.
Vecna, the hand of Vecna, the toilet of Vecna, you name it.
The dirty
Is that all?
panties of Vecna.
Oh, whoa. Is that even artifact level? I don't know.
I don't. It may be a cursed item.
It could be.
I would think it would be.
I could see a fighter walking around with it on his butt. You know, it's like, I can't get it off. I really had to go with that dungeon. I'm sorry. Anyway, now you see where the show's going to go. So let's go to hits and crits.
Well, one thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly. So? They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits.
Hits und crits. Okay, Brian, what you do this week?
Oh, let's see. I just literally finished Splatbook 85, and it's in the Dropbox waiting for Vince to put it up. So there will be an episode, ready and willing this week. Of course, this is May 12th, so it should be out by Thursday the 16th.
Good.
Aside from that, I haven't been doing too much. Just getting everything, just getting ideas together for the continuation of the campaign, and just other things of that nature. That's pretty much it.
You should give the martial artist the sword of Kaz. Wait, what?
Right. Yeah, third level martial artist with an artifact. What could ever go wrong?
Nothing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Ah, I'm sure.
sure enough. I mean,
Yup.
Corey, what have you been doing?
Well, we didn't play D&D yesterday.
Why not?
It was Mother's Day.
So
Oh, that's
let your mother play.
I can't. She's in Hawaii.
Oh, well.
Plus,
okay.
I have a new girlfriend, and she's a mother, so I spent the day with her. But as she's sitting there cooking me steak, she says to me, you have a lot of interesting stories about your campaign work, because she started playing D&D with all of us. And I was like, yeah. She's like, you should totally make a book about your world. And I went, well, it just so happens I have one of those. And I said, it's, I've talked about it on the show here, and I've tried completing it. I get sidetracked. It gets put away. I try to put out, it's like 3/4 done. She's like, she looks at me dead center in the face, bright eyes, and I love her for this. She goes, do you want some help finishing it? I went, can I tell you how much I love you? You are the moon of my life. She is my Khaleesi. I was like, yes, I do. So I've been working on my campaign world for the last 24 hours here, belting out, editing, updating, changing. We're going to get the campaign book out. And she's like, would it be cool if you had one about all the gods? And I'm like, you mean like deities and demigods or powers and pantheon? She's like, yeah, we can do one of those. And I was like, I love you so much. It's ridiculous.
Corey, you're making me sick.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. What about you, Glenn? What have you been up to?
I don't know, making me sick enough to want to. Well, shut up, Glenn. Anyway, you're my friend. I don't want to say things bad. Well, I want to find out what Richard's been doing first.
Oh yeah, we got a new guest host tonight, Richard.
Yeah, I'm writing a short story for a new pulp anthology that's coming out.
What pulp, huh? What's it all about?
It's a kind of a departure for me because it's not any kind of a supernatural or fantasy theme. It's a like hard-boiled detective stories.
Ooh,
nice.
I love them.
Oh, that's right up Glenn's alley.
Yeah, pretty much. Which anthology is it going to be in?
Off the top of my head, I'm not even sure of the title. It's one that'll be coming out from Prosy Press, which is one of the big new pulp publishers, and it's not even due in for a couple months, so the book won't be out till fall, I don't suppose. But it's a lot of fun. I've been reading that stuff all my life and watching that kind of movie, but I've never written a straight up one with no fantasy elements. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. That's how we plug you on here, see.
So for plugging, I also just published a little ebook collection of some of my horror stories that feature the undead, which is called Zombies in Paradise, that people can get on Amazon.
Is that a print on demand or?
No, it's an ebook.
Oh, it's an ebook. Okay. I know.
That's the one that has the cover with the zombie and the Hawaiian shirt, right?
That's the one.
I want to get that. Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm sorry.
Lane Polk.
Oh. Okay.
Did you repeat that?
I said the cover is by my incredibly talented artist friend Elaine Polk.
All right. All right. I almost said I should have Becky download it under a Kindle and says, yeah, I could really see Becky reading something like that. Miss Harlequin romance.
It might be a little strong for her then.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Let's see what I've been doing. I've been trying to work on my game for the convention. We've got a game coming this Saturday. The schedule's thrown off a bit because of, summer, family obligations, things like that with Matt. And so we're going to play we didn't play this Saturday. We're going to play next Saturday. And then the following Saturday, I hope to have all the guys over to play test my convention game, which I hope will be done by then. I sat down last night and I pulled out the Rules Cyclopedia, the Creature Catalog, and the Tome of Horrors Complete, and said, let's make a list of all the undead creatures I can use in this game. I'm still working on that list.
Wow.
I went over to see Matt the other day, and I said, there's some of them just didn't work, like Undead Merman. And Matt goes, Undead Merman? I says, yeah, they're elven Undead Mermen. And he starts going, Undead Merman. I was, oh, crap, I told him. Now we're going to be attacked by Undead Mermen in the next Labyrinth Lord game.
Never give your DM ideas.
Sea Elf Undead Merman. Sea Elf Undead Merman. Ugh.
Are they worse than the Seagulls? The Lacedons?
I hope not.
Well, that sounds.
Because I told him in Tome of Horrors Complete's got a really nice write-up of Orcus in there. Oh, and I got Palladium Book presents The Compendium of Weapons, Armor, and Castles by Matthew Ballant. I bought a second copy because they had a second copy there, and I bought it with the Compendium of Modern Weapons, but I ended up giving that copy and the other copy to Matt because I'm not into modern guns and stuff, and this is right up my alley, and it's got like the flintlocks and stuff in the back. But have you ever read this book? Have you ever seen this book?
No.
It says it's for use with all role-playing games, but I suspect it's probably statted out for Palladium. But it looks like it's very easily to. But it's got like all the weapons and armor you can think of. In the back, the castles part. Oh my God, they got a castle building guide in here. how to make them, and they've got pictures, drawings, and maps of every single castle left in the known world.
Wow.
Really?
Yes, it is.
You mean like Scottish castles and Frankish castles and?
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. They got, let's see,
German castles.
Nice.
They got English castles, Welsh castles, Scottish castles, French castles, Italian, Spanish, and other countries.
Wait, I gotta pull a Glen here. Do they have White Castle?
No.
Wow.
And it's plus like a map of the Egyptian Empire for some reason. I don't know why, but hey, I'll take it. And it's just anyway, check it out if you can find it. The Compendium of Weapons, Armor, and Castles. The original retail was $19.95. I picked these up for $8.
Wow, good deal.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, Half Price Books. But that is me. And we had our emails.
Oh yeah, we've got emails for sure.
Alrighty.
I've got them marked out, Corey. If you want to take one, I'll start it off if that's okay with you.
You want me to read some emails?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll read one. You read one. We can just alternate.
Oh, folks,
All right.
I haven't figured it out already. Full On's not going to be with us tonight. He's got army stuff to do.
Army training, sir.
Yeah, he's got some. He's otherwise occupied this evening.
And
so
he
yeah,
is well
it'll
to
just be the four.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's what he's been doing. All right. Okay. This is an email that we've read before, but for some reason
We
the
liked
email
it so much.
Yeah, we're gonna read it twice. But no, what happened was I think the show that we did got compromised somehow, and we had to do it again, and we just didn't read the email, so I'll read it now. This one is from Alexander Davis.
Hi,
And
Alexander.
he says, "Hello, fellow THACOers. Here are a few thoughts I have had inspired by your podcast, probably about from the early 50s to number 72. In number 55, when you were talking about Iune stones, these originally appeared in a 60s sci-fi fantasy story. Basically, the anti-hero of the story had hundreds of these, and he went up against what would become comparable to the Council of Eight. He lost, but it was pretty close because those stones, which came from the heart of a dwarf star, the Council had abandoned the anti-hero. The Council had abandoned the anti-hero on after he'd been mining them, and they had managed to acquire a few for themselves. Let's see. Yeah, henchmen and hirelings. Here's the issue I've always had with henchmen and hirelings. GM theft. You see, when we would hire a few guys for meat shields and we would get some pretty nice stuff, the GM would invariably have whatever NPCs were around, Clunk, who was ever with them, on watch and grab the goodies no matter how well protected and run off with them.
That sounds about par for the course.
Yeah. Girdle of Hill Giant Strength at level 4, swiped. Cloak of Elvenkind and Cloak of Displacement at level 3, one was being used as a blanket and pillow while the other was buried under the other character's sleeping spot, secured with a magic mouth with invisible string tied to an alarm bell and another invisible string tied to his toe.
What?
Still gone. Yeah. And even with Rangers trying to track them less than an hour later, those MFers disappeared into thin air.
Jeez.
So when every NPC suddenly turns into a 10th level thief where there is a magic item at stake, yeah, NPC trust is very, very low. I have a freaking litany of NPC stolen stuff that recently causes problems later on. Plus they took the gold we paid them with, so the odds I will hire people to fill out the party is quite low. Oh, that's a big DM problem if there ever was one.
Oh, that's
sure.
where I walk away from the table, man.
Yeah. If your DM's going out of his way to take away whatever magic items that, the party finds.
Well, not just magic items. It's not just magic items. You got DMs that'll take anything that ain't nailed down if the party ain't there.
Yeah, I know. And
I've seen that.
I have a problem with that myself.
Yeah, if your DM's taking away magic items after he gives them to you, and he's using the NPCs to do it, two things. One, you need to let the DM know, dude, look, we're going to stop picking up treasure, and we're going to stop playing because there's no point in adventuring if we're just going to keep getting robbed.
Right.
Or, well, why do you guys keep dying? Because we're not hiring it. Why don't you guys hire NPCs? Because all they do is steal from us. Well, why don't you guys do it better? Give him that exact, read off what you just wrote us. how
Yeah.
well protected that was.
Yeah.
Logistically, a shield bearer, level 0 shield bearer, should not be able to out trick a magic mouth, 2 invisible strings, an alarm spell. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if he's like, well, I just didn't want you to have, then what'd you give it to us for?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You don't want him to have it, or the worst part as a DM is you only want to have them to have it for a limited time.
Yeah,
of course, that's what they make charged items for.
Right, exactly. And, it's just, to me, it's like you're basically wasting your players' time because they're going to be pissed off because you pulled the bait and switch on them.
Mm-hmm.
And, and then, you're going to deal with player resentment, and that's going to lead to the game being disbanded at the very least, if not some physical violence being bandied about.
Right. Like I said, the thing is, charged weapons are charged items are a DM's friend.
Absolutely.
Yes. What do you have to say, Richard?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would never give players stuff just to keep. I do think that maybe one time you could have a scenario where something gets stolen if it's properly rationalized, and have the adventure be to try to go get your stuff back, and then when you finally do that, you pick up some other stuff too. But it's got to be, but it shouldn't be some 0-level henchman who manages to rip them off.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
And
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just like Corey said, I think, the fact of the matter is he's giving out a girdle of hill giant strength at level 4.
Yeah, he's a little Monty Hall. It's a little Monty Hall of him to be doing that. But what you could do is if he starts giving out more of these magic items, it's level 5 and he's handing +5 Holy Avenger swords out. You need to write him a note and say, hey, listen, we don't want this if you're just going to take it away from us.
Right.
Well,
I have a problem with DM theft in general because my first years of playing AD&D, this is after the Gamma World stuff, there was like 1 or 2 DMs, it wasn't just the hirelings. It wasn't the hirelings. We put hirelings out there. There'd be a convenient tribe of goblins or orcs who stole our stuff. Always around. Or I think our party never took a horse, even when it was offered to us for free, because sure as hell, once we get to the dungeon, tie them up, even if they're guarded, our horses are good. Even at night, when we're camped, our horses are going to be gone. They'll be stolen.
That's fun. That's just ridiculous.
And it's like, we're gonna hoof it everywhere, okay? Unless you can teleport us or something, forget it.
Yeah, and and then the DM's like, what? Because he doesn't understand that he's doing things to basically piss off his players.
Yeah, it wasn't even like, oh, I gave him 2 powerful magic items, I better take them away. It was like, okay, I'm showing you how I can mess with you as DM.
Yeah,
and that to me stinks. That's the lowest kind of gaming I can think of.
Yeah, my players, first thing they do when you get NPCs is no alignment. After no alignment, what they'll do is they'll have the cleric pretend to cast a bless spell on them, or actually cast bless spell just out of nowhere, and they'll see if they're susceptible to accepting the spell instead of fighting it. And then what they'll do is once that happens, charm person. Hey, guess what? He's not going to steal from you because he's your buddy.
Yep. Well, at least until he makes his periodic saving throw.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So do you charm them before you go into like the fest halls? So it's like bros before hoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
My problem is I had a cleric at the table who was a pacifist. Wouldn't kill anything that had 2 legs. And so essentially they'd walk up to everything and he'd start charm person. So eventually he was starting to use them as landmine checkers. Like he'd send them down the hallway, watch their heads fall off.
But that was okay with his pacifist philosophy.
Well, he wasn't killing them. He wasn't doing violence to them.
The traps were killing them.
Not, but...
Right. So essentially, it got to the point where they went back to town and they had to actually hire people because they needed help. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, you guys want us to hire? Yeah, it's 4,000 gold. What are you talking about? You just offered that guy 40. Yeah, but we heard about your group and what you like to do to your NPCs. You know, bad reputation gets around, man. You start losing NPCs, it gets around the others.
He won't kill anything on two legs, so I guess he never ate any chicken, huh?
Nope. He didn't do the killing. That was the ranger.
That's like lawful evil pacifism.
Yeah. It was weird. But yeah. As a DM, you know, you got NPCs. You don't want to keep stealing from your players because eventually you're just going to piss them off, and they're just going to be like, you know what, we don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah. Exactly. So is that the whole email?
No, I still have more.
Okay. No, that was Alexander's.
Yeah, this is.
I just want to say thank you, Alexander. That's all.
Right. Yeah. This is still his email.
Oh, okay.
That was only his first part.
Okay. Yeah. By all means, go.
Yeah. Okay. To continue, I always thought carry-on crawler's paralysis was purely magical, so there was never any point in collecting the fluid or turning the head into a cat of nine tail. That's Full-On's idea, by the way. Of course, a necromancer might be able to gain even more benefit from these critters with the poisonous ichor concept, so your mileage may vary. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you know what? Carrion crawlers, you can still do it. If their touch is magical, then I'll bet there's a wizard out there somewhere who'll figure out how to recharge the head if he takes it.
For sure. You could probably just take the...
It would be a charged item then.
Yeah, take the tentacles, petrify them somehow, and then you have wands of paralyzation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. On your preparation podcast, I will note the following preparations for myself and my game. Pre-game prep. As a GM, I will spend most of the week making little notes about what X, Y, or Z will say, do, or be. Most of which will not survive 5 minutes in the game. Yeah, players will do that to you.
Yep.
The more preparation you make, the more
off of it they go. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll go off the plot, exactly. Pre-game prep as a player. As a player, I will spend most of the week making little notes about what to do or be, all of which will not survive 5 minutes in game, because the GM has to respond to your craziness.
Yes.
Let's see. Pre-game prep as a host. We have a very rare position for our group I call the host position. The host is whoever's house we game at. They provide food as well as a space, we who do not host, that's what I meant to say, do bring some things on occasion. Note we don't live close to each other. I call our group the Front Range Rangers for a reason. If someone wants to Google maps of Longmont, Wheat Ridge, Denver, and Castle Rock, Colorado, you can see what challenges our team makes weekly, as we have 2 in each location.
Wow.
I kind of know the Denver area a little bit. Yeah, I can kind of understand. Full-On would know better because he used to live out there. But of course he's not here. Well, such is life. As such, the benefit of the host is huge, in both time not spent driving, minimum of an hour one way, and gas savings. Though the host does bring some challenges with it too, as we have a huge range of dietary concerns from diabetic to total vegan to lactose intolerant.
Wow. Yeah, but worse than we do. We just got one diabetic in the group. That's it.
Right. The food is whatever the host feels is reasonably priced, but filling fair, well-seasoned, and quite tasty too, while being very healthy in a paleo diet kind of way.
Oh, pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Like all gamers, we're willing to try new recipes and add them to our staples of hamburgers, burritos, barbecue chicken, and tortilla soup, varied weekly and seasonally, as well as a few secret side dishes I shall conceal lest we be overrun. Oh, humble brag. All of which is served buffet style, so as to allow enough choice for the dietary restricted. This position is a point of tradition for our group. When I host, I call upon my wife's decade of cooking, party planning, and serving expertise, though I put in labor for my fellow gamers. Last thing. Your inference of drownies, you remember that? Or dronies, I should say.
Yeah, it's drownies. Yeah.
Okay. Is quite hilarious and inspiring. But I do believe the drow are barely mentioned in the 1E Monstrous Manual. That's because they're in the 2E Monstrous Manual. They were expanded in the Fiend Folio as well as the lead up to D1, 2, and 3.
That's right.
Well, I wish all of you well in your expansion of 2E universe in both depth and breadth. With much thanks, caller, another Skip.
Thank you.
Thank you, another Skip.
Thank you, another Skip, and I totally forgot what I was going to answer him to.
Oh, it's probably talking about the pregame and postgame.
Oh, pregame. Yeah. We most of our games are over at Matt's. Once in a while, we'll be over at my house, which I like, because there's like a, well, like I said, our friend Ray's the only one who's diabetic. So either he brings his own, or we try to make an accommodation for him. Like, I think last time we had chili, they made some turkey chili.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of thing. And so he knows pretty much what the score is, but we do try to accommodate him as much as possible. I like gaming over here because, like, within spitting distance, there's a Papa Murphy's.
What is a Papa Murphy's?
Papa Murphy's is take and bake pizza.
Oh, awesome.
So it's cheaper for everybody.
So they just, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
We preheat the oven. We call it Papa Murphy's, order a couple of pizzas, which is cheaper than getting it delivered or going to get it. And we go get it and we cook it ourselves, and it's fresh pizza.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, they basically make it, but they don't run it through the oven.
Yeah, that's why I call it take and bake.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, there's other.
I thought you were referring to something else there for a second.
No, not that kind of baked. How about your prep, Richard? What do you
I've been running modules lately, so my prep is not that tough. I just kind of have to keep track of where they are and who's in what kind of shape and what tweaks I want to give to the story in the module to make it more interesting to me. Back when I actually had the time to write my own modules, though, I was putting in a fair amount of time of crafting stories and statting stuff out and kind of looking at, well, where are they, where's can they go off at 90 degrees and what's going to happen if they do.
Right.
And you always have to keep that contingency in the back of your mind.
Yeah,
are you the host? The
No,
host
we usually play at a house of a friend of mine named Doug, who lives alone, so we don't bug anybody else when we're shouting at each other or laughing crazily or whatever, and that works pretty well.
Yeah, I can imagine.
All right.
What about you, Corey? You're the host all the time, right?
I'm always the host. I've got all the books. Everybody comes to my house unprepared, unpracticed, and unplanned. They come and go, I'm lazy, entertain me. And then I have to, entertain them. That's why I get a kick out of hurting them in-game.
By the way, as far as prep, I'm prepping that con game, but I found two things that really turned my head around about plotting and prepping.
Okay.
One of which is the Dream Park role-playing game, which has a wonderful system in the back, or wonderful section in the back on how to write down a story in outline form in beats.
Oh, cool.
Now, it might sound like a bit of a railroad, but you can make it as flexible as you want. Also, I'm going to make sure Brian puts this in the show notes. There's an article on a blog called The Alexandrian called Don't Prep Plots. That should be required reading for every DM and GM.
Sweet. I'll have to check that out myself.
Where you don't prep plots, you prep situations and see where it goes.
Cool. Yeah, I want to read that.
Anyway, I just want to throw that out. What else?
Right.
What else?
Should we do the next one?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Do I want to touch this one? This one has a compliment to Glenn. Do I really want to read this? All right, I'll read it.
Come on, I haven't had my butt kissed in a while. It's getting kind of lonely.
All right, this is from Chris Weggert. I believe I'm saying that right.
Hi, Chris. I like you already.
Chris with a K. Hello to THACO's Hammer crew. Thanks for reviewing the Menzo Berenzon box set in Splatbook 83. It stirred some fond memories. Back in my university days, I had a lot of fun with that box set and can honestly say, in my opinion, it was one of the best supplements put out by TSR. Given the choice between it and Drow of the Underdark, I would choose Menzo Berenzon every time. The depth of development and wealth of plot hooks littered throughout the book made it a DM's dream for coming up with interesting adventures. That said, Drow of the Underdark is an excellent companion book. It's very useful for anyone considering using Dark Elves in their campaign. Okay, here we go. I was somewhat surprised that most of your focus was on integrating the city with an existing campaign or one focused on surface dwellers delving into the depths. Personally, I thought it seemed intended for use as the basis for a standalone campaign using Drow characters. Coming as it did around the same time as White Wolf was hitting it big this set, along with Planescape, or TSR's answer to the sudden appearance of some real competition in the RPG market. By creating settings that put the focus of the campaign squarely on intrigue and social interactions with a touch of moral ambiguity, they were cutting into what seemed to be White Wolf's biggest draw, aside from a system designed for min-maxing. This is true.
Yeah.
That using, rock, paper, scissors, but we won't get into that. In the early 90s, I used this box set to drag my group away from Vampire the Masquerade and back into AD&D by offering up a sandbox campaign, aka DM Improv, where all of the characters were Dark Elves. It worked like a charm. As soon as I had a group of backbiting, conniving drow figuring out how to advance their house by establishing trade with a nearby Kuatoa settlement and orchestrating a war with another drow city.
Right on.
Considering that everyone had just read the Driss Dark Elf trilogy, we all had a lot of fun with the setting and got right into character. The girl in our group, playing a priestess of Loth, of course, took particular joy in randomly whipping the male party members for no better reason than because she could. Thinking back fondly on that campaign, I went looking for my copy of Menzo Baranzon, which unfortunately seems to have grown legs and walked out on me at some point. Odd the way game books tend to do that. At any rate, thanks for the fantastic podcast and the hours upon hours of rambling tangents. I would particularly like to thank DM Glen for mentioning the Vornheim sourcebook from Lamentations of a Flame Princess. In my current Planescape campaign, it has come in as an invaluable resource for fleshing out Sigil. I used to pass over the third-party books aisle at my local game store, but thanks to you, I'm now digging around to see what diamonds in the rough can be found. Cheers, Chris Weggert.
Thank you, Chris, with a K. I will mention that book any chance I get. That's a fantastic resource.
He's got a video in his signature file. I've never seen somebody put a YouTube video of audio in their signature file, but that's pretty cool. Okay.
Pretty snazzy there.
Thanks you for letting me listen to free music.
Okay. Free music's good. We at Wild Games Directions do not endorse, nor do we condone the use of copyrighted music. So then you didn't hear this from us. Anyway, go ahead.
Thank you, Chris, for the email. And yeah, we all, everybody who plays this game, I don't care what version, what edition, I don't care what language it's in. We all take what we want and use it as we want. When we discussed the Menzo Baranzon box set, we were talking about how taking surface dwellers into Menzo, and yeah, you're right. You could use it as its own standalone campaign setting where everybody rolls up a drow character. My problem with that is, I go to a con every 6 months. There's a con that they have a winter and a spring con. It's called MEPACon. Matter of fact, it's where I met the producer who I spoke with, who runs these podcasts you listen to. And at that podcast, they have a game which is essentially a 4-hour block of a drow campaign. And it is run just like you think it would be run. A bunch of drow backbiting, trying to kill each other, trying to make accidents happen to further the goals of their household. The game literally starts off like a campaign, and at the end, it turns into Ultimate Fighter. It literally is people. I think the source of that game is, let's see how many people we can have kill each other. And it's literally a promotion by them doing that, because every time somebody dies, one of them stands up at the gaming table over the entire con and go, "We got another one!" And everybody cheers, and we go back to playing the game.
Well, you know what? That sounds like if you had a bunch of high-level drow mages with the clone spell, that would turn into paranoia.
Yeah. I mean, and essentially, if I ran Menzo Baranzon box set the way that you're saying, run it like everybody makes up a drow character, at my table with the guys that I play with, 5 minutes, I'd probably have somebody poisoned, somebody dead, and somebody missing.
Yeah,
because that's the way it's the nature of the beast, so to speak. It's the way drow are, but my guys will take that to penultimate level. And I'd just rather not have that. So I'd rather use the villains, the drow as villains, than let players play it, because it just gets real out of hand real quick. But yeah, kudos on you using it as you wanted to. And hey,
I agree with him that it's an awesome product. I don't think I could have written Dissolution without constantly referring to it.
Yes, awesome book, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that you have to I mean, yeah, it lends itself to a Drow house versus house, Ultimate Fighter, like Corey said, kind of campaign where there's backbiting, betrayals, and all kinds of buffoonery going on. But you have to understand, the majority of players who use this supplement, they're going to use it from the people, the surface people going down into the Underdark and having to deal with the Drow city somehow. So, that's where the majority of the box set is geared towards. I mean, they do have a chapter or two or section or two that's dedicated to, okay, if you want to run a Drow city / Drow houses going up against each other and the players are representatives, blah, 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 here's how you can do it. Sure, they have that in there, but, it all started with Ds 1 through 3, because that's where Drow originally started. Never mind that there were some friends of mine back in the 80s who thought that was racist, but I will digress. Yeah, I know. It's one of those where it's like, look, go into freaking Norse mythology. Yeah, there are dark-skinned elves. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's some sort of parable for racial tensions of the modern day. Get over yourself.
No, you know what it is? It is
Smart Alfheim. Yeah.
No, actually, what it is it is a commentary on the way we've treated Native Americans. It works
really?
about
Does it go that far back?
Yeah,
it works. It works just about as well. So,
yeah. Exactly.
or like anything else, it could be a metaphor for Vietnam.
Oh God, let's not even go there because every time I think about Vietnam, I think of Walter Sobchak. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's the majority of what players, unless of course you've got somebody who wants to run, I hate to use the term, but unless they want to run a Drizzt clone, then all of a sudden, here's plenty of background for it, Drow houses and everything like that. But anyway, my whole point is that, yeah, you went and did the other 20% of the supplement, and most people are going to look at the first 80. That's basically what I was saying. So,
right.
It is. Your mileage may vary, like you said.
But anyways, thanks, Chris, for the email.
Thanks you, Chris. That was a good one. We got any more?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Got another one.
Give us one more.
No, I've got it.
Shoot one more out there. Pull the trigger.
All right, here we go. All right, this is from DM Mark. He's emailed the show before. Okay, he says, "Hello there, Hammercast." See what he did there? It's DM Mark here, checking in again and saying hello, hoping everyone is doing okay and that you all had California Chrome in the Derby, even though he only paid $7. Oh, that's pretty funny, actually. Well, anyways, I have to say, since I caught up on your back catalog, the ability to punch up the next episode right away is given away to delayed gratification of having to wait until I'm surprised by the newest THACO's hammer being downloaded into my Downcast queue. As always, yeah, well, when we're only putting out 2 new episodes a month at best because we have other stuff we're doing, yeah, that's, that is what it is. As always, you're doing a great job. The DM's brainstorm bit was a nice addition to the show. The first one with the bridge in the mountains seemed like a logical extension of Keep on the Borderlands to me, based on where that keep is supposed to be in Mystara anyways.
That could work.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it definitely could work. So anyhow, I've recently acquired a secondhand copy of the Ravenloft setting. Now, back in the day, I didn't really give much attention to all the 2E campaign worlds, mostly because I didn't have the disposable income, but also because I was pretty much planted in Mystara with Beckney.
Right on.
However, yeah, I can kind of feel his pain a little bit on that. However, having skimmed through this, I'm really impressed. While I don't know if I would like this to go as a full-time campaign, I think this would be great to use as an offshoot or side adventure for when you're wanting to mix things up or when you need to punish the sociopaths in the group.
Amen,
That's how
brother.
most people do it.
Amen, brother.
Yep.
Welcome to the dark side.
Exactly. Having the characters wake up on a misty morning thinking nothing's wrong, then finding themselves in some spooky domain when the mist's clear, where paladins and priests are nerfed. It's a great thing to pull as a DM. Warning mark. Don't do it too much. Cause yeah. We're in Ravenloft again, man. Yeah, anyway. To continue, some of the things I wasn't sure about, like how evil characters in the normal world are supposed to gain deformities if they commit evil acts. it seems that anyone evil would then start to gain these traits and eventually get pulled to the demi-plane of dread. So thieves, assassins, slavers, etc. could all ostensibly begin to bear these marks, which would start to be a giveaway, I think. And the horror checks seem kind of Call of Cthulhu-y, but maybe they work okay during gameplay.
Nothing wrong with
that.
that.
They do. Yeah, exactly. They had to do something to kind of, really push home the setting.
Horror part, yeah.
Yeah, horror part of the setting, exactly. Like I said, I've skimmed over it just a little, so maybe I'm reading it wrong or misunderstanding the mechanics. No, you're understanding it pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'd love to hear you guys, this is funny. I'd love to hear you guys give Ravenloft the hammer treatment and listen to y'all's respective experience with this world. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I know sometimes you sometimes devote a show to a certain campaign setting, and if I'm not mistaken, you haven't covered this one yet. If you're looking for ideas, maybe this could fit the bill. Keep up the great work, guys. Look forward to hearing from you. Cheers, DM Mark.
Thank you, DM Mark. 2 years ago, Halloween show.
Yep, that's exactly what we did. We even brought our not so benevolent overlord Vince in on that because he's our resident Ravenloft.
If you wish to know, sir, that would be episode 28.
Yes.
Ravenloft for Halloween.
Yes.
That would be right after 27.
And if you can take Vince, you'll be fine.
Ooh.
I love you, Vince.
He was
as a brother.
Yeah.
He was kind of asking why Ravenloft doesn't just scoop up all evildoers.
Yeah.
If I understood him correctly.
Yeah.
I think it's, it's gotta be, you gotta play it as a lot more chaotic and mysterious than that.
True.
It's not something that has to be understood,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the whole point of the plane is chaos, and the plane itself.
Mystery's a big part of horror.
The plane itself, if Forgotten Realms, the realm itself is all green Legos, and Mystara is all red Legos, and Greyhawk is all, whatever, yellow, whatever. But the point is, Ravenloft is like when you walk into your little brother's room and pick up the bowl, and all those colors are all mixed together. Each bit of Ravenloft is a portion from another realm. Yep. There is no single bit of Ravenloft that is original. It's a demi-plane. It's not even a full plane. So It's created by sections. And the sections get pulled randomly, as we're told randomly, but the powers of Ravenloft may choose, this person's pretty freaking evil, but he needs to stay there because by him doing these evil acts, he's going to increase the amount of evil that we can pull later. That would be a reason why maybe some of the evil isn't just immediately sucked into Ravenloft.
True.
The other thing is, you don't know what the powers are that are pulling those pieces, and some of it might go, we just need a couple here and a couple there, not let's suck everything up and make one giant, one giant world consisting of the longest ride at, Magic Mountain. It's a giant line of hate, a world of hate, but
it's more like Magic Missile Mountain.
Yeah.
There's also the other thing, the way I understand it, especially with the book that Patty Elrod did years ago, where Lordsoft got sucked into Ravenloft from Dragonlance.
Right.
The way I see it is that it has to be, number one, a being of irredeemable evil, and number two, he has to do something of even more irredeemable evil to gain the notice of the plane in the first place. I mean, the way that I interpreted Ravenloft is Strahd is like the only one out of almost all of the other domain lords who actually kind of is tumbled to what's going on, who has the best knowledge of what's going on as far as why, who's getting pulled in and why. And he's also looking to keep his dominion over the plane.
Which makes it interesting because even though he may be a foe in some games, you can actually construct a game where you have to go to him to get information.
Yeah, and that's always interesting because he's a vampire lord. Yeah. And and it's just one of those things where it's like your average thief, assassin, slaver, whatever, unless he did something really, really reprehensible to even where his contemporaries are going, damn, dude, you really did that. It's not going to attract attention of the plane. And like I said, most DMs that I know of, and I'm looking at you, Corey, most of them use Ravenloft as like, okay, you guys are being idiots. You guys are being douches. This is what I'm going to do to you for a while.
Me?
Moi?
I don't send any players to Ravenloft. They send themselves to Ravenloft.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm not up on the parts of the demiplane, but is there a swamp section?
I'm sure there is, and even if there isn't, you could just say it pulled it from a random plane.
That's what I mean. I mean, DMs can make up their own parts of the plane.
Sure. Yeah, you can make up your own lords if you want to.
Right. It's just I just got a wicked cool idea. That's all. Oh. Creating a Haitian Louisiana type plane that's like half 2/3 swamp. And see, I got the idea from watching Princess and the Frog with my granddaughters, because Dr. Facilier, the voodoo bad guy, would make a great lord of that kind of plane.
Oh, just by
with the hoodoo and the voodoo and zombies. It'd be zombie world basically, and that kind of thing with the the dead chickens and all this other stuff, and that'd be a very nice demi-plane. I'd run that.
Yeah, you should also check out that latest series of American Horror Story, Coven, where they're in Louisiana, and it's all voodoo and witchcraft, and there's a bad voodoo priest on that show as well.
Right. Okay. Well, that's cool. Thanks for writing in, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, we may even take up the Ravenloft banner for something else later on, because there's other little bits that we can cover, like the other, what was it Domains of Dread box set, and the Mask, of course, the Mask of the Red Death.
Every single one of the thousands of Van Richten's guides.
Yeah, I still want to get the the Encyclopedia Magica versions where they put all that stuff together.
Yeah,
those are even harder to find than Encyclopedia Magica. Let me tell you.
That I would agree with.
Yeah,
I have a full set for sale.
Shut up, unless you want to talk business.
No, I mean I have a full set of Encyclopedia Magica.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I understand. Well, anyway, that's the emails. You can send an email to us, at thacoshammer@gmail.com.
Or we have a phone number.
405-806-0555.
Yeah, it rings the payphone down at the end of the blog. Somebody will answer. Somebody will go by to answer it.
Store.
Yeah. Is this THACO's
Hammer? Have payphones? What?
Is this THACO's Hammer? Hey, you got $1? Oh, wrong number. Sorry. Anyway, we should move on.
Oh yeah.
To Magic Fingers.
The White Wizard approaches.
There's no such thing as magic.
You always were the better magician. You guys know that. But whatever your secret was, we have to agree. Mine is better.
Magic Fingers.
Magic Fingers. I think that's a foreign language. I don't know. We're gonna talk the body parts of Vecna and Vecna himself. Who is Vecna? Why is he bothering us? And why won't my sister stop dating him? So,
go for it, Brian.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see.
Who is this Vecna person?
Okay, Glenn. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Vecna, we'll see. Vecna is Vecna, of course, it seems to me, because, I've only done very light reading on the subject because I didn't know we were going to do this today. But anyway. Yeah, as I say that through gritted teeth, because I'm out on the limb and you guys are sawing me off on it.
No. One person is doing that.
Yeah. Corey. Anyway.
What'd I do?
Richard, hang on.
Yeah. Now, see, I would love it if the tree fell over because you saw it off the branch. But
maybe Richard knows something about Vecna. Do you know anything about Vecna?
Not much. I know that he was. I know that he was one of those pesky Lich King kind of character, or the Sorcerer King kind of characters. He gets turned into a Lich, and then I think subsequently he gets destroyed, but his power and essence is invested in one of his hands, which is severed, one of his eyeballs, which is plucked out.
Yep.
And so those are floating around, and if you get those incorporated into your own body, you get superpowers, but then you basically kind of start turning into him. Is that the gist of it?
That's more or less the gist of it. I mean, those two artifacts, of course. Go ahead, Glenn.
No, I'm saying he's kind of the Greyhawk version of Sauron.
Yeah, for the most part, he's just, the
he's
big
gone,
bad.
But the evil is still there,
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is that those two artifacts, of course, got their start in the first edition DMG.
That's right.
Where you could actually give abilities to artifacts and give them, drawbacks and things like that, which was one of the most fun things about that book. Just coming out with these, the artifacts and saying, well, my eye of Vecna does this. Well, my hand of Vecna does that. And, that kind of thing. Vecna himself.
So it's basically eye to eye in an arms race.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like me to give the history of Vecna?
Would you please?
Sure. For those of you who do not know the tale, Vecna was an extraordinarily powerful wizard, some say the most powerful wizard of all time, who became a lich. He sought to conquer the world of Oerth and nearly succeeded. His lieutenant, warlord, and chief assassin was Kaz the Blood-Handed. Kaz eventually betrayed Vecna, resulting in both of their deaths, and inadvertently saving Oerth. Because evil such as theirs can never completely fade, Vecna rose again, this time as a demigod. His servant and betrayer Kaz returned as a powerful vampire. Again the two struggled, Kaz seeking to regain his powerful sword and Vecna laying plans for becoming supreme, even among the gods. Both were eventually claimed and into the mists of history. That is where it stands before we get to one of the other sections of this podcast later.
Right. Okay. So he's a big bad guy.
Corey? By the way,
he is bad guy, but he's not bad guy.
Can I ask a question, Corey?
What?
Where'd you find that?
The first freaking page of the Vecna module for Ravenloft.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to know where that was. Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, the eye and the hand of Vecna were items that you could give powers to in first edition. Now with second edition, they decided to come out with this thing we covered several episodes ago. I can't remember exactly, called the Book of Artifacts.
Yeah.
And yes, in the Book of Artifacts, they still have charts where you can actually randomly put in powers to it if you wanted to, but I'm going off of the Encyclopedia Magica version.
One or two?
Two.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the latest one.
You said Hand of Vecna?
Yep, Eye of Vecna, Hand of Vecna.
Are we doing?
I've got the eye.
Wait a minute. Let me ask before we keep going here. What section of the podcast are we doing? Magic Fingers?
Yes.
Magic Fingers.
So we're talking about magic items.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Spells and magic items.
Yes. Okay. Now, they give a description of the Eye of Vecna, which basically says, the Eye of Vecna is little more than a shriveled clot or small pebble, blood red in color. Like the hand of Vecna, it must be affixed to the owner's body, in this case an eye socket, before it can be used. Once it's in place, it changes its appearance to that of a golden slitted eye, much like a cat's. Once affixed, the eye is permanently attached until the owner dies or it is forcibly removed, which is probably going to end up happening because, yeah, things start going.
So get a red BB gun, you'll shoot your eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Anyway,
more wrong.
let's see. The eye radiates powerful magical auras that cannot be determined. Okay, and it gives a little history about Vecna, which Corey gratefully, I might add.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Talking about the actual artifacts, each time one of these artifacts has surfaced, disaster and ruin have followed. The eye was instrumental in the extermination of the house of Hyeric, or Hyeric, however it's pronounced, once the ruling dynasty in Nirond. Of course, this is all Greyhawk Central, but of course you get adapted to your world. And Miro, the Paladin King, was corrupted by the power of the hand. Each time the eye and the hand have failed their owners at some crucial moment. Well, yeah, you're dealing with, very high-powered evil artifacts, and a paladin is going to try to use these things? Are you kidding me? Wow. Let's see. So, moving right along, it basically says, both the eye and the hand of Vecna are so evil that the PC should gain little good from either artifact. The DM should fill their heads with tales of tragic deaths and the dire fates of those foolish enough to presume upon Vecna's power. The most obvious goal is to keep these artifacts from falling into the clutches of the cult of Vecna, of course. Both group PCs and cultists are in a race to follow a path of rumors and legends to the end, which of course is which of course leads into the later segments of this podcast.
Yeah.
The cultists will not rest until these items are theirs. A variation on this is if the characters accidentally find the eye or hand and must destroy or hide the artifacts before the cultists do them in, of course. Now, the actual power of the eye, one of the eyes is the user gains ability of true seeing. They can cast Eye Bite 3 times a day and Domination once a day. That's pretty damn powerful in itself. And it has a random powers from the artifact table on the chart of divination. So, yeah, you've got a very, like I said, it's an extremely powerful item. Let's see. Now, the suggested means of destruction. Vecna, the demigod, must be permanently and irrevocably destroyed. Yeah, good luck with that. It must be cast into the heart of Earth's sun. And every shade of Vecna's victims must be sent to a peaceful rest. Not easy. Out of those 3, the second one's the easiest one if you bring Spelljammer into it. But then that just creates a whole different set of problems.
But then again, if you take this into your own world and don't play in Greyhawk or wherever, you can have it a volcano on your world somewhere.
TSR missed out on a great money opportunity. If they could have worked with Hasbro earlier on, they could have done the Greyhawk version of Operation with Vecna's body on there. Replace eye.
I personally would have loved to pick up a cloth bag sewed in the shape of a hand for your dice, a dice bag of Vecna. That'd been awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see how.
Or you could do the sack of Vecna in a whole different way.
Oh!
Whoa!
Yeah, like
Which
that
was the zinger?
Oh wow, unbelievable. Okay,
Which
so
reminds
you
me,
want
I had a friend one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say.
No,
go ahead.
It's a tangent. I know people hate tangents.
I love it. I just hate
tangent.
Tangent. No, I was just
take
gonna
the
say.
hand, or you want me to cover it?
Go,
Corey.
What?
You want to cover the hand, or you want me to do it?
I can do it. Richard
would you please?
Do it. Oh, well, I guess I can.
Does he have an Encyclopedia Magica
Absolutely,
volume
he
2?
does.
Let me see.
I sent him the pages that he
did.
Oh, look at you.
What?
Oh, look at you being all helpful.
Well, he's doing the Hand of Vecna 1 or Hand of Vecna 2?
2. Might as well stay on page 564.
Not the one from Eldritch Wizardry.
No.
I mean the one from the Book of Artifacts.
Correct. Yes, sir.
That's the bigger one.
Something about this is not. If somebody else can see where it actually starts,
Yeah?
Maybe you should do it, because I'm
I'll
not...
do it.
All right.
Okay, yeah, it's on the second page in the PDF I sent you for the Hand of Vecna. It's on page 2 on the right-hand side.
I'm seeing that, but it seems like it starts in the middle of the sentence. I don't...
The Hand of Vecna appears to be a mummified left hand, black and claw-like. To be used, it must be... What are you doing to me? Okay.
Are you sure you got it?
Yeah,
I can do it.
Skype's binging in my ear. Sorry.
Oh.
To be used, it must be placed on the stump of a left arm, where it will be instantly grafted into place. Once in place, it can be used as a normal hand, but it always retains its horrid appearance. Like the Eye of Vecna, once affixed, the hand is permanently attached until the owner dies or it is forcibly removed. The hand radiates powerful magic auras that cannot be determined. In his time, perhaps the mightiest of all wizards, Vecna was a master of a kingdom now lost to the depths of Flanesthy. Lord Vecna's rule was not kind and just, for he was filled with malevolence that, if known, would make even the dread Ios the evil tremble. So great a wizard was Vecna that none within his realm dared oppose him. So great was Vecna's power that when his time to die came, he escaped even that and became an arch-lich more horrible than ever before, allowing him to continue his reign of terror over the land. In the end, though, his own lieutenant Kaz treacherously attacked the Lich, and in the resulting battle both were utterly destroyed, except for the Archlich's hand and eye. These dismembered parts have survived the millennia since Vecna's passing, retaining in themselves a small portion of Vecna's great power. Each time one of these artifacts has surfaced, disaster and ruin have followed. Miro, the Paladin King, was corrupted by the power of the hand. Padden the Vain used the hand to start the insurrection of the Yahites, a rebellion in the Emperor of the Malachite throne later crushed. With the hand's power, the so-called Vecna too held monstrous sway over Tyrus for 100 years. The hand and eye have always failed their owners at some crucial moment. Over the years, the cult of worshippers have arisen to venerate the vile Lord Vecna and work to pave the way for his return. To the cult, the hand and the eye are relics to be obtained at any cost. Didn't we just read this from that?
Yeah, I got that. It's okay, I'll edit it, don't worry.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So, the powers of the hand. Talk to the hand. Oh, God.
Oh, did you just do that? Oh.
Yeah, I did it.
So his Lieutenant Kaz was the one that messed him over, basically.
Right.
No,
So is he like this middle-aged black guy in armor going, "I'm gonna get that from you"?
I don't know what that. No, I don't know where that reference from.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Hey, folks, they can't all be golden. Sorry.
Richard, you were going to ask something?
I was just going to say, I don't see I'm not sure where the Kaz seems like such a bad guy. I mean, all that we really know about him is that he took out Vecna.
Yeah.
Well, once we cover the Sword of Kaz, you'll find out.
And he wears sweaters and he likes Jell-O.
Right. I think he may have just been misunderstood.
Oh, not that Kaz. Okay.
No, not that Kaz. No.
Okay.
Not that.
The constant powers of the hand. The user gains a 19 strength, immunity to magic missiles, and inflicts 2d6 points of damage to plant-based creatures by touch.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just the start.
That's constant powers. Invoke powers. The user gains an instant death touch, no saving throw, once per day.
Wow.
Random powers. 8 from artifact table 1 through 16. Minor powers 7. So you get 8 random powers. 7 minor powers, and then a unique gesture for each major power.
Yeah, 8 minor powers, 7 major powers, then there's Then on top of that, keep going.
You get resonating powers. When joined with the Eye of Vecna, the user gains 6 random abilities, 2 from the table of detection, 2 from the table of protection, and 2 from the table of abjuration, and 70% magic resistance.
Yes.
That's with both? So
it's
okay.
Them, yeah.
Join with the Eye of Vecna. You got to take the eye out and put it on the hand, or
no? You pluck your own eye out. You put the Eye of Vecna in your eye socket. Then you cut your left hand off. Put the hand of Vecna on that, and you get those powers.
I cut the right hand off and just be 2 left-handed.
Better than 2 left
feet.
Hands
for yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
As these were once living tissue of Vecna, every use requires a saving throw versus spell to avoid artifact domination. The artifact's goals are to gain more magic power, establishing an empire, destroy the Sword of Kaz, and summon Vecna to Earth.
Yeah, this is the one ring in body parts.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And the problem is that with that saving throw versus spell, when you use a power, it's increased to -6 if you have both the eye and the hand.
Huh.
It's one of those where if you have them both, you're pretty much screwed.
I don't care about having 19 strength, but that protection from magic missiles is awful sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, leave the other stuff. I'd just take that.
Yeah,
if I could.
When you're if you're dealing with artifacts, you don't have much of a choice.
Right.
And of course, the means of destruction are the same as the eye. And yeah, I do remember back in the day when, we were in the midst of our power gaming throes, if you will. Yeah, these artifacts were in play and they moved from character to character and corrupting, their lives and doing all this stuff. And he rose up in power only to have the other players try to cast him down and blah, 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 that kind of thing. It's like the end of Flash Gordon, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Ming gets killed, the ring goes somewhere, someone finds the ring, and it starts all over again.
Right.
So these two artifacts just by themselves cause a lot of problems. But yeah, put them together and you've got major difficulties. I mean, we're not doing these items that much of a service because, they still have randomized powers that are in the back of volume 4 of Encyclopedia Magica or in the back of the Book of Art. So, throughout the multiverse, if you will, meaning, people's games ranging from one to another, no two eye of hand or hands of Vecna's will be alike.
Right.
Cause you gain these abilities randomly. Yes. So, yeah. When you bring these things in play, this is one of those where, you're going to have to be probably close to, I put air quotes out there, retirement level.
And since it's a basic artifact for any game now, I wouldn't walk up to like Elminster Shack and saying, "What do I do with these?" It's like, get them the hell away from me, for one.
Yeah, exactly.
To get them away from each other at all possible.
You know, I would use them in a campaign.
How's that?
I would start the campaign. I would have the player characters hook up with some powerful benevolent patron like a paladin lord or something. And as the game continues and as they rise in levels, this guy starts to change. And you get a little nastier and a little nastier.
Right.
And finally they tumble to the fact that he has got one or both of these things grafted into his body that's been covered up by illusion, which is why they haven't noticed it till now. But now he's really starting to go dark side, and the question is, how do you save him when he doesn't want to be saved?
Right.
You kill him.
Next thing you know, he's an anti-paladin, yeah.
No, you just cut his hand off. It
Well,
says it can be removed forcibly.
Poke his eye out with a sharp stick.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm
call
feeling with all his powerful minions and vast powers.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Easier said than done.
Of course, yeah.
He's right over there, but he's in front. He's in back of 10 Death Knights.
I never played with Eye of the Hand as a player, never came across it, but I did have a thief by the name of Archibald Barisal, and he was an elven thief mage. And essentially I took anatomy and I took artistic ability for some proficiencies, and he would cut the hands off of dead people and put them in a box and paint on the hands and then cast a couple cantrips to give it some sort of magical enchantment as far as detecting magic on it, and he would sell it off to stupid rich folk as the Hand of Vecna. He'd make dozens of them, and that's what his income was in town. He would just sell fake Hand of Vecnas.
Wow. That would be fine up until the cult found out what he was doing.
Right, exactly. That was part of the long campaign road of him being found out, but he died to a grell before that could happen, so yeah.
He got killed by a grell, really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Wow.
He was just bad saving throws.
Who'd have thunk, really? Anyway, that's the Eye and Hand of Vecna. Tell us your eye and hand stories, not your own, at THACOShammer@gmail.com. Let us
know about that.
Yeah. I watched my eye do my hand. Anyway, next is DM's Rag.
Journey now to an age undreamed of. An age of mystery and magic. You are a worthy opponent.
5.
Oh, great.
So you got an arrow right in your chest, and you're out 10 melee.
Oh, no. Don't worry about it, Mike. I got resurrection. I'll bring you back. I'm already one of the undead, Greg. I can still throw death spells, huh, Steve?
The DM's Rag.
DM's Rag. We got a couple of modules here that feature Vecna. Die, Vecna, die, and Vecna lives. In this quarter, Vecna die. In this quarter, Vecna lives. Fight!
Yeah, okay. Vecna lives, excuse me. That was made in 1990, which was designed by Zeb Cook himself, the father of 2E. Mike Bro did the editing.
Your
Jeff
bro?
Easley did, Mike Bro.
Oh, they said
B-R-E-A-L-U-T. That's how it's pronounced.
My bro did. I was like,
no,
your bro.
No.
Right.
Jeff Easley did the cover art. Ken Frank did the interior art, and et al. For photography, typography, and graphic design. This module came before the one we will be covering, and Corey, if you would please, can you take that one?
Which one? Vecna die?
Yeah.
Because you're doing the Greyhawk one, because I don't play with Greyhawk. Sorry, Gary, but I'm not a Greyhawk fan. All right, so you do that one. I'll do Vecna die.
Okay. Now, Vecna Lives is a high-level adventure for character levels 10 to 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
And now the first thing is that, this thing sort of plays out kind of like a horror movie, and there's a lot of things going on here. The first thing that happens, of course, they go through the story of Vecna, and they tell him how evil he was and how he decided to become a arch lich and blah 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 blah, and how
killed
cats
puppies.
betrayed him, blah blah blah.
He killed
exactly.
puppies.
Mm-hmm. I like this. There's a prologue to the adventure, and the title of it is "Wherein the Circle of Eight begins a membership drive," which is kind of funny. Now the problem with this module is, and I've never really liked this, is that now the first part of it's actually cool because you actually get to play the Circle of Eight, which is interesting. You get the Circle of Eight, and they actually try to go into this place called the Grave of Halmadar the Cruel. That's what it's called. And you're basically, all the characters are the ones you know: Tensor, Bigby, Otto, Dromage, Mistle, Rary, Otzluke, and another one called Jalarzi.
Right.
And you're basically going into, and you basically, as these 8 characters confront Vecna. Now the problem is that the way the fight goes and all of this other stuff going on, the Circle of 8 lose the fight, against Vecna. They find out that Halmadar is actually Vecna, and this is how it all goes. And, basically the whole thing goes, they even have it broken down into what should happen per round. And, it all comes down to Vecna casting a time stop and ambushing the Circle of 8 and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, man.
Now,
always them time stops.
That part is okay. Now, the other ones, the second part of it is that you don't play with your own characters, you play with the henchmen of the Circle of 8.
Uh-huh.
and basically this goes on as an adventure, it goes on as an adventure where you are trying to, basically trying to stop Vecna from, I think, becoming a, what's the name? Becoming a demigod. And I'm not exactly sure if that succeeds or not. And by the way, when you fight Vecna, of course he has both the eye and hand. So yeah. Yeah, this is pretty bad. It's a pretty bad fight. Okay. So, you're basically going around and gathering information, talking with Mordenkainen, and you're having all of these. They even have a little thing called teleconferencing in here, which is that's actually funny. Of course, through magic, you can have teleconferencing.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of funny that way. And while you're talking to Mordenkainen and trying to figure out what to do, you get ambushed by cultists of Vecna. And of course you have to basically stop them, which is not going to be easy. From that, apparently even in this, there's, they're actually, according to the stats in here, I'm reading this off the fly as we're going, apparently in the ambush group, in the cultists, they actually have the eye and hand of Vecna, believe it or not.
Huh.
So now you have these items, which is kind of weird, in and of its own self. Now they have to do, the third part is doing research on these things and trying to, figure out what to do about these things, and it goes on from there. So, as I'm scrolling down through the module, and now the third part is a little boring because now you're having to do a whole lot of studying and proficiency checks and things like that.
Right.
And now the next part of it, if I can actually get to it, there we go. Now they have to leave Greyhawk and travel to some ruins in Verbalbank, which is a region in Greyhawk and all this other stuff. So basically you have the two artifacts, and now you're basically trying to figure out what to do with them. And while the cultists of Vecna are basically throwing everything but the kitchen sink at you to try and obtain these things. Because if they obtain the eye and hand of Vecna, it's more or less all over for Greyhawk at that point.
Yeah.
Because they will bring back Vecna, and they will have him ascend to demigodhood, which is not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. And now you're going, I'm just scanning through this thing. Now you're going through various regions of Greyhawk, and you're going to this one spot where you're having to going through trying to actually deal with Vecna, and there's an actual avatar, and there's a whole bunch of things going on. I mean, I wish I had read this a little better, but you are basically having to deal with these two major artifacts. And of course, there's a chapter where, okay, this is what happens if the characters win, and they basically they save the the Greyhawk gods from destruction, and Vecna rising to godhood. Now there's another thing that happens if Vecna wins, and that completely changes the entire landscape of the campaign world. Vecna gets ascended to greater godhood status, and now all of a sudden Greyhawk gets completely and totally transformed and changed, which is not good. So yeah, this is one of those all or nothing kind of modules. Either Greyhawk gets saved or it more or less gets wrecked.
This is a little bit bigger than a Shire scouring of the world.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And even the Sword of Kaz gets involved in this whole thing. So yeah, I mean, it's just wow. And
I also heard that there was some controversy over these one or two modules. I forget which one. There's some people said it shouldn't have been written. It was terrible. Blah 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 blah. The other people saying, yeah, it's pretty good. We like it. But that's just going.
I hate to say this.
Yeah.
No. I was just gonna say is that a lot of the people who basically decry this stuff
Uh-huh.
I hate to say it like this, but they're Gygax apologists. You know,
I wouldn't
because
hate to
this
say it.
was his
They are
world.
what
was that, Glenn?
I said I wouldn't hate to say it. They are Gygax apologists.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is Gygax's world, but, you know, once he left TSR, not anymore. So, you know, and the whole funny thing is even if the players win, Vecna does ascend to demigodhood status.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, they have stats for him in the back of the book, which is rather interesting. I think it's one of those things where, you know, you're basically fighting for the lesser of two evils. You know.
Maybe that's probably why they didn't like the gray. You know, it wasn't
not
heroic enough for him.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I kind of have a certain sympathy for that. I mean, if we're gonna play the module and win, then let's, you know, cast him into hell for a while or something. Don't have him ascend to a form of godhood anyway.
Throw him into Ravenloft for a while.
Oh, he has been. That's where he's currently at.
Really?
Go ahead for it. Tag.
You want me to read this other one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, essentially when Vecna and Kaz fought and died, when he tried to come back to life as a Lich, and he came back as a Lich, him and Kaz both were sucked to the Demiplane of Dread.
Oh, good.
This module, Die Vecna Die, takes place after that, and there is a Ravenloft one where I read the intro about Vecna from. That has to do with Vecna actually in Ravenloft. This one, though, on the other hand, is not. Die Vecna Die was made in, where is it?
Just told us, the early 90s.
Did I? No, 2000.
Sorry.
2000 Wizards of the Coast Incorporated.
So Vecna Lives is first, or which one was first?
Yeah, Vecna Lives was first because that was 1990.
Okay, that's why Die Vecna Die was the one they had a problem with. That's right. I remember hearing all sorts of flack about, okay, Gary's not there anymore, but it should have followed his vision of da 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 da.
They weren't going to do that. It's just ridiculous. But go ahead, Corey.
It says editing by Miranda Corner and Roger Moore, creative direction Stan ! Art director Paul Hanchett, cover art Paul Bonner, interior art Kevin McCann, cartography Todd Gamble, Dennis Kauth, and Sam Wood.
Go ahead.
This is different. This is Vecna, and essentially there is a guy named Ayuz. Ayuz is known as the Corpse King, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
The Corpse King, Ayuz. He found out that Vecna found out he's going to die. Vecna wants to be a god. So Vecna wrote, and he's obviously over level 20. He wrote 2 tablets and wrote out a spell to become a god, and it's a true Dwemer, however you wish to say it.
Yeah, other words, 10th level spell.
Yeah, 10th level spell. The particulars of this Dwemer, according to Ayuz's study anyway, require a portion of flesh from the original body of any other demi-power, called the sacrificial demi-power. While in possession of this relic, the candidate demi-power must cast a spell, blah, blah, blah. Ayuz is trying to use the Dwemer that he found, and he's trying to find these tablets so he can become a god.
Yes.
In the meanwhile, Vecna has already figured out somebody's going to try this, and it's a giant trick to let Vecna become the true god.
Right.
The players come into this finding out that there is a huge, giant Stonehenge-like location called – I can't remember the name of this freaking place.
The Stonehenge of Vecna. No,
it's Tovag Baragu. Baragu. And it's a giant stone structure that has many rings. It looks like a finished and gigantic Stonehenge. And it's nothing more than a giant thing of portals to other dimensions. Vecna is actually on another demi-planet they've made of him. The Citadel of Whispers comes to mind, but I can't remember if that's the right name. He's imprisoned on the Citadel Cavitus. That's the name of it. Essentially, Ayuz and all of his troops head through these portals before the players to go find Vecna because they need a piece of Vecna's flesh to do this, to make this spell. The players follow through all these gates into different teleporting chambers and teleport through to try to get to the home plane of Vecna, or the imprisoned plane of Vecna. And essentially, Vecna tricks Ayuz and goes, "Just kidding, I'm the god now," and he becomes a god. And essentially, it is up to the players to and then Vecna decides, "Hey, since I'm a god now, I don't need to be in prison anymore. I think I'm going to go to Sigil through Planescape to the City of Doors," and he just goes there, and the rule of Sigil is no one god is allowed to stand at the City of Doors because you'll tear down all reality. Vecna goes, "Hey, guess what? I'm staying here, and I'm going to chill out in the armory. Come get me." And literally the players have to go to Sigil and go and take down Vecna.
So it's a Planescape module.
It does touch on Planescape, yes.
Okay.
But when it first started, it's off your actual wherever you set it at.
Wow.
But yeah, it's ridiculous as far as what you have to do. You got to go to the planar crossroads. You learn that the Ascension is only the first part of Vecna's agenda. In fact, Vecna appears to be making a play for the role of supreme deity of the multiverse. He wants to be the Gamu.
Yeah.
I think Al may have something to say about that.
What else here? City of Doors is under duress, and the whole multiverse begins to quake and shake. A full god should never stand within the City of Doors, yet Vecna's anomalous presence can't be denied. While the Lady of Pain stands idly by for mysterious reasons, Vecna sets himself up in the armory. The heroes are all that stand in the way of total planar dissolution, but even if Vecna is finally ousted, the cosmology of the planes will never be the same. Whoa! You mean that's a realm-shattering event that's not even in Forgotten Realms? Wow!
How about that? How about that?
Sorry, Ed, had to pick on you about the RSEs.
Right. No, this is an MSC, a multiverse-shattering event.
Yes, there you go.
It's history. He's about to press the history erase button.
Yeah, there you go.
The cool thing is, throughout this module, as I perused this last night, I gotta find the page because there is a cool new monster in here that I plan on using, and if any of my players are listening to this show, don't listen. Skip this part, because if you don't, I'm just gonna punish you.
Of course, they're not gonna do that.
I
right?
know. Essentially, it seems that the cult of Vecna found out that they could breed, or what's the word I'm looking? Yeah, I guess breed is the right word. What are they called? Law's handmaidens.
Yokels? Yokels? Yolchols, or however it's pronounced?
Yes.
Yes. Wow.
With hold on. No, not those. What are the stalagmites and the ones that look like stalagmites?
Piercers?
Yeah, ropers. Sorry, ropers.
Wow.
They merged a roper with an
what?
Iliathid.
Ooh.
With a mind flayer. The stalagmites are not what they appear to be. Instead, they're living creatures, the result of a union of mind flayer and a roper. The resultant monster is called a Europhion. Europhion. The creature has 6 tendrils, and like a roper, appears as a rocky protuberance. It's a simple observation. However, unlike a roper, a Europhion hungers for gray matter, and its tendrils act like the face of an Iliathid tentacle.
Brains.
Dude, this is awesome. I can't wait to use these monsters.
God, Richard, you're lucky you're not in that game.
What I'm sitting here thinking is, so this was a module where they was going to rewrite the whole multiverse?
Yeah.
And yet it was not associated with an edition change? How did that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know what? It is on the heels of an edition change. This was made in 2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is right on the changeover.
That stuff when the edition changed.
That's right around the time they messed up the RPGA and I stopped going.
Yeah, and they
Green Region,
up the
all that kind of crap. Yeah.
There's a magic item in here that they find in one of the cabinets called a hell ball, which is kind of cool. It's a 1 foot diameter, 5-pound sphere of utter blackness extracted from a petitioner or suffering soul in the 9 hells. First person to touch it with naked skin, it merges with its victim who fails save versus death magic. The sphere's movement beneath the skin is visible now, and then as it distorts torsos, limbs, and face, a successful merger afflicts the victims with torturous pain so extreme that a successful save versus paralyzation must be made each round to take any action other than writhe in pain.
Wow.
Yikes.
You can only get rid of it with a remove curse of at least 13th level or ability or higher.
You get 2 of those and put them in your Vecna sack, you've got some.
Oh, wow.
The testicles of doom.
Just the fact that you can just see it just going underneath somebody's skin. Ooh.
Yeah, they also have something in here called. It looks like this. Either I got this book like messed up, or they put stuff in the wrong spot. But in one of the lounges, it says that the room's filled with like bones, dead bodies, and stuff. And then they have like a section that says it's a monster entry of Teeth of Vecna.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
With AC of 8, move of 12, 20 hit points each, THACO 19, 1 attack.
No, you know what that is?
No.
Those are actually ranks of the cultists of Vecna.
Oh, and then there's the fingers of
heart,
Vecna.
the mind, the teeth,
the
hands, fingers.
Kind of like Hydra.
But I like in here through his punishment in prison plane, there's like golems that have like Vecna's visage. They all look like Vecna. So you have to fight mini Vecnas before you fight Vecna.
Wow.
But
yeah.
This is a pretty good module, but this is fun. This is definitely high level module. This is
they recommend
golems. What kind of golems? Any kind of golems that look like Vecna?
Stone golems, iron golems. There's vampire pilgrims in here.
Because I'm thinking that I ran across the Tome of Horrors. Charon, the boatsman across the river Styx. They gave stats for him on the Tome of Horrors complete, but they also gave stats for these things called Shara something or other, a variation on the name. But what they are is they all look like Charon, but all they want to do is kill you. You get in the boat with them, all they want to do is either stab you or throw you overboard.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you got Charon or one of these guys.
Yeah, because of course if you get thrown in the river Styx, you lose all your memories.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
Or they kill you. Just outright kill you. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking about is like, golems that look like Vecna. Am I actually fighting Vecna? I mean, if you did like a flesh golem with the face of Vecna, it's like, it's like the crypt things where when you told about the lich to say, "You're me."
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, I mean, they even have a little primer on Planescape towards the back of the module, which is actually really nice.
Nice.
And basically this is a huge freaking module. This is one of those tome modules, as a matter of fact.
No, what this is essentially is this is about the same size as that
Rod of 7 parts?
No, the one Underdark one that everybody loves.
Night Below?
The Night Below.
Oh, okay.
It's big like Night Below.
But it's in one supplement because it's 160 pages.
Yeah.
So
it's huge.
this is, So you are in, they have the breakdown of the hand, the eye, the sword of Cass.
And believe it or not, that they're still out there.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I've run across like Die Vecna Die at least once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely one of those you have to be on your P's and Q's for. Yeah.
What did it go for? What did those go for in the day?
That went for. Hold on, if I can reopen my thing.
This went for $24.95.
Yeah, $25. Yep.
For both of each, or
well, for this.
This is one. This is one tome. This is one thing.
What? Die Vecna Die and Vecna Lives?
No, yes. Vecna Lives is Vecna one Lives. Book. Die Vecna Die is another book.
Right, but I would say they both go for $24.95.
No. Die Vecna
Die went.
Die Vecna Die went. Right, and Vecna Lives went for $10, $9.95.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
And by the way, I found his stats in the back of this, so when we get to that section, I have the stats.
Well, why don't we do that after I tell you to write your Vecna stories and send them to us so we can use them? THACOshammer@gmail.com. Now it's on to having a snipe hunt.
Two fools who laugh at death. Do you know what horrors lie beyond that wall?
No.
Then you go first.
This world's divided into two kinds of people, the hunter and the hunted. And luckily, I'm a hunter. Nothing can ever change that.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I'll swallow your soul!
Come get some.
Time for a snipe hunt.
Okay, let's have a snipe hunt. Corey, tell us about Vecna stats.
Well, I'll read you the stats that they have in here for Vecna. I don't think we need to go in through and say, who he is, because I think we've already done that and covered it.
We have.
Where is this old crotchety man? There he is.
I'm right here.
There he is.
All right, our human male. He's cleric, level 30 cleric, level 30 fighter, level 36 mage, level 20 thief. That's 4 classes. This guy's been busy.
Yeah,
AC
sure.
neg 6. Movement of 36. That's pretty spry for an old man.
Yeah.
He can fly at 36. Level A, type A. He has 223 hit points. THACO's a negative 10. So I just don't even roll. I hit you. Attack 2. It's touch, tax. Damage is 2d10 plus 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a strength bonus, of course. That's where the 14 goes.
Of course. Yeah, he's got a strength of 20.
Special attacks, greater powers, paralysis, aura of evil, special defenses. You need a +3 or better to hit this old crotchety old man. You got to make a saving throw against any adverse effect. Or he can make a saving throw against any adverse effect. He's immune to symbols and glyphs. He's immune to psionics of any lesser god or mortal. 100% magic resistant. So forget it. Magic users use that dinky little quarterstaff you got, because no magic.
and hope and pray it's a +3.
Yeah, his size is gargantuan, 30 foot tall. He essentially, oh my God, what a great idea for a Ghostbusters campaign.
Yeah.
Gozer the Gozerian summons Vecna.
Yeah.
Yeah, his strength is 25, his dex is 20, his con's 23, his intelligence is 25, his wiz is 25, his charisma is 23, his alignment neutral evil.
Of course.
Really?
Yeah, neutral evil,
I think
yeah.
no, I think those stats. I think he cheated.
You think?
Yeah. Special equipment. Eye of Vecna.
Hand
While
of Vecna.
Vecna has it, cannot directly affect foes with other incorporated relics. So in this book, in this module, he actually has his eye, doesn't have his hand.
Okay. Looking for the hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what intrigues me about those stats is all those levels of thief.
Yeah. I was wondering about that.
You see him, like sneaking around real well and picking a lot of pockets at 30 feet tall.
With his magic, he could shrink down, become invisible, whatever. But
actually, he just has to teleport the guy out of his clothes 100 miles in a random direction, and then just pick the clothes up. Perfect thief. I just picked his pocket.
And also, I don't think he was always 30 feet tall.
Yeah. That's pretty funny, though. Could you see him at a little door, kneeled down? What are you doing? I'm working on my thief experience. I'm going to level up.
Exactly.
He's got normal thief's tools to everybody else. With him, it's like these little tiny things trying to pick the lock.
That'd be awesome.
Can you pick that chest? I don't know. Damn, I broke it open.
The choice has been made. The summoner, the traveler has awoken.
Whoa. Yeah. This sounds like the guy. This sounds like the ultimate guy as far as he's a campaign guy. You fight all his priests and minions and everybody else, the cult of Vecna and all that stuff. You do not fight him directly unless it's like the biggest climax to the end of the campaign or something like that.
That's what happens at the end of Die Vecna Die.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happens.
But,
I think I'm changing my last BBEG, my last big bad evil guy at the end of this campaign that we're working on. I think I'm going to use Vecna.
Really?
I think so.
Orcus is more fun.
Yeah, no, but these guys have already dealt with a whole lot of undead, and they're dealing with undead and a new cult and a god trying to be reborn that they don't know his name. So, hey, looks like I just found exactly what I've been looking for.
There you go, partner.
Mm-hmm.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the end of Die Vecna Die. If the players actually destroy Vecna's or defeat Vecna, and they're basically talking about how Leviatar actually will gives you recognition for what you've done.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of really weird. it's kind of strange because like that's the kind of recognition you kind of don't want.
Yeah, no, the Maiden of Pain. No, I don't want that.
It'd be fun if they did that and they were in Greyhawk and then like, maybe 2 story arcs later they end up in the Forgotten Realms for some reason, Portal or whatever, and they'll still recognize as the guys who took down Vecna from the Temple of Leviathan.
Well, you know what? That's the funny part. Yeah, because if that happened, I was DMing it. Yeah, the major movers and shakers would know.
Yeah, Forgotten Realms. I mean,
Elster would know.
He would know in a heart. I mean, gossip.
If he's not stooping some 16-year-old, that is.
No.
Oh, did I say that?
I mean, Mordenkainen tells him everything anyway, so.
Right, yeah, that's true. Yeah, between him and Dalamar, they don't know much of anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those where, the players better pull every little magic trick out of their pocket, so to speak, and just go, I hate to say it, but balls to the wall. Cause you're going up against the greater god's avatar right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All because he suckered in a lesser power, which was kind of, kind of when you think about it. But anyway. Going up against Vecna,
Anyway, I don't think anybody here in this podcast that is on here right now has played either of these.
No, Full On said he played Die Vecna Die.
Okay, but he's not here.
Yeah, I was supporting your statement.
Okay.
Well, let's ask him next time. Next time he's on when we do.
Okay, Richard, you haven't played these, have you?
No, never have.
Okay, so somebody out there, please give us your experience with either of these modules. I'd love to find out at thacoshammer@gmail.com. I really would. I mean, that'd be good fodder for another show.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How did you kill Vecna?
Yeah. Yeah. Give us your strategies if you would, please.
Yeah. I had the eye of Vecna, the hand of Vecna, and the tongue of Simmons.
Okay.
Glenn, are we at the end of this one?
Hey, we got to close this splat book.
Well, I'm almost out of rum, and your bottle's empty, so I think we're done.
My bottle's been empty for years. Well, say goodnight, Brian.
And remember, folks, it's not the fact that it's your world that's in danger. It's the entire reality. Remember that. No pressure, though.
Yes. Say goodnight.
No pressure.
Say goodnight, Richard.
Good night.
Well, that was easy. Corey?
Well, folks, Full On's not here, but I'll say it for him. Good night, Gamer Nation, and next time we come back, I'll have a bottle full of rum.
Well, Corey will. I don't know about Full On.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, son of a gun. And I'm DM Glenn saying I'll see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye. Oh, Vecna, go. So that's not like Beetlejuice, is it?
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.